Look, I was down on my back. They never thought I would last. I didn't run out of gas. I'm giving all that I can. They didn't know I'm the one. Stand my ground when they thought I would run. Beat me down when they thought I was done. Beating death like the sound of my drum. Feel like I can go do what I want. Liberating. Liberating.
What's up, Days Pirates? Welcome back to another video of Gear 5 Productions. I'm bringing you a new RP Luffy list, leaning more into that beast that is 8 Cost Katakuri. You might notice that my background's a little different. I'm actually traveling with some family, and I wanted to make sure I got this video out to y'all. So I'm recording it's like this courtyard of the hotel, kind of doing my best Kai impression, I guess you could say. But overall, this 8 Cost Katakuri is demonic. And it's a real force, and I think every purple deck can make some use of a number of them. And I just want to try out 4, and it did some work for me today, I'll tell you that. So this was the list for most of the video. It's sitting on a package of 10 2Ks with 2 of the new Frankies and our 8 kind of standard, or my standard is 4 Usohachi's, 4 Sanji, because I like to kill people in this game. And then Frankie versus for a little bit more versatility. I am running 2 of the Punk Hazard Sanjis because of the combos that are available with Gum Gum Mulligan through that. Being a 6K body, you can make some dynamic 7-down plays. I did bring back the Legend 7-cost Kid because I kind of wanted to lean into what I'm kind of calling a Fortress style with just a lot of blockers. I think 10 blockers might be the most blockers I've ever played in RP Luffy, so yeah. I think this list was a ton of fun. What I ended up messing with, I think the last game or two, none of these cards really... Oh, I just saved it. I ended up putting in Law Blocker, was what I was going to say. So overall, as I'm going through the games, there might be a little bit more cuts than you might be used to. A little bit more editing that I have to do just in case people come in, and because I'm working off one screen here. But let's jump right into some games. We played some games against Buggy, and then we have a game against each of the other multicolored purple Luffys, and honestly, we had some great games, and they were disrespecting your boy. So let's show them what the real original multicolored Luffy can do. Overall, this list was a ton of fun. I do think Katakuri has a great role in this deck. I've been saying I want a chunky blocker to have some fun with. So that's what I did today. And I do think I'm going to play a number of these in the long run. I think it's definitely a meta call. I have another video coming out soon where I want to talk a little bit more about meta calls and tech choices. But the games today really made me feel strong, and I was able to kind of ward off some pressure in some pretty dynamic ways and show them who the original multicolor Luffy is. So let's get into those games. We got Buggy first, one of the new emperors with us. This hand is beautiful. We got ramp. We got ramp even if they are able to get it, like remove our Zoro or mess with our Zoro in some way. And then we also have that God Thread to push through. So top decking the Katakuri gives us a lot of opportunity going down the stretch. This is the matchup real quick. The Buggy matchup going first makes a big difference because they get to turn 3 leader effect if they go first. Which, I mean, either way they get to turn 3 leader effect, but they get to do it. They get to leader effect before we get to swing with our Zoro, and their freaky Buggy can prevent that if we're on the going second curve. Alright, so they did find a promo Buggy off of that search, and then played a Margaret, which is an interesting tech choice from a blocker perspective. It did kind of change the way that I wanted to play this turn, allowing me to swing 5 in, get a card out of hand ideally, and then remove that Margaret, and then swing in with a 7. This would be kind of as inconvenient as possible for my opponent. They're down to take 2 hits already, which I think Buggy is kind of looking to take the first couple hits regardless, but just kind of keeping the pressure on and not allowing them to utilize that blocker is always a good thing. Can't really argue with that. And then he puts us in a strong position next turn, whether we want to go for a Katakuri or a Luffy. We have a lot of opportunity with that. Because they did play out the promo Buggy that prevents us from swinging, they did just go ahead and leave the Zoro on board because there's not much we can do about it at the moment. So we did put in 7 here into face. Try and pressure for 2k counter, or, you know, 2 cards rather. I think he ended up kind of wrestling with this, and especially with the 7k blocker in there. I really like trying to pressure in for 7 as often as possible, even though it might not always be 100% necessary. Just kind of making it where even if they block, they have to give me a card. I just like that leverage. And if you can't, you know, the 6 is still worth it. Oh yeah, this is an interesting issue. He was having an issue with the Crocodile and Mihawk, and it was only allowing him to trash cross guild, which does not appear to be intended from the card. But it is what it is, I guess. We're on the sim, and you know, some small things like that. That's what I even said. Like, I think that's an issue because I don't think he should have been required to pitch that. I didn't even notice how quick he did it. He played the buggy from the ST and pitched another card to play out the crocodile there. It happened so fast I didn't even register it. I was kind of surprised here that they just took that straight 7 when they had 2 7k blockers on board. Maybe they're afraid of me swinging into one of those blockers, which, valid. Because against Buggy, you do want to kind of pressure their board the best you can because of how good that 10 cost 12k can be, especially against a deck like us where it's basically a red rock, and we are developing large bodies that, you know, can be punished by such an effect. They do still get to get down that Buggy, but they left my blocker on board, which is nice. Gave me a lot of opportunity to kind of just remain in control of the situation. Here, I wasn't really sure if they were going to swing into with that Mihawk, but they did elect to, so I just took it. I'm still at 3 health. Like, look at my hand size compared to theirs, my health compared to theirs. Yes, they have a couple more bodies on board, but especially with Gum Gum Giant, I'm in such a dominating position that I'm not concerned with it at all. Here, being able to go 7, 8, and then develop that 9 cost yet again is phenomenal. Or did I end up playing the kit here? No, I think I rushed. I think I ended up going straight 10 in. Yeah. And then we leave open a giant, because if they want to swing into our board, we can contest that as well. If they want to go hyper aggressive, we can contest that amazingly with our blocker. And yet again, if they have another 12 cost, 10 cost, 12, I can't stop calling that thing as freaking 12 cost. That buggy. If they have another one of the 10 cost 12k buggies, it's a little unfortunate. But at this point, I feel like I'm in such a commanding position. It's kind of, I don't want to say completely irrelevant, but kind of irrelevant. Especially having him at 0 life and that Sanji in hand. That's why that Sanji's my go-to 2k on top of the Usohachi. I want to be in control, or if I'm not, that's counter, right? Let's get out of hand. Especially with that Sanji in hand, I don't want to be spending, you know, 4 Don on a blocker like Tony Chopper. I want to utilize those cards in a commanding position. Those 2Ks are extreme utility in finishing off the game. And then, yeah, just being able to go straight 18k is phenomenal and almost always going to win you the game. So that's a good finish. We got green, purple Luffy up next. This is the first of my victims of the new age of purple Luffys, thinking they can disrespect the original. So we have just a phenomenal curve in hand. We're going first. We get to Zorojuro on curve. They have no way to deal with it within their... Oh, actually, that's a lie. That's a straight up lie. I forgot about that 4 cost green. That's funny. But I did have the ramp still, so it didn't really matter. And then we're going to go into that late game, and we are going to take control of this game very quickly, despite really anything they're trying to do. I was kind of just thinking about going face, but knowing this deck, I want to just kind of get the pressure off board and make sure they weren't going overtly wide on me. So I think removing that 5k was good, even though, you know, they'd usually have to invest a Don into it. It's not that big of a deal. And then now we are just in a great position. I do decide to develop the use Captain Kidd. And I am going to go 8k into them twice. Because I know they're going to swing into my Mr. 2 in the long run. And now we are just in a dominant position. even though they do have a ton of cards in hand, it is definitely something to be concerned with. Knowing kind of the way this deck operates, I'm not that concerned. Being able to stay at a 7k leader, they're going to have a very hard time contesting this Eustace Captain Kid. And then on top of that, when I'm able to layer a Katakuri on top of it, it's kind of exactly what we're looking to do, right? Overall, I was going to say within this deck I don't know if 7-cost Kid is 100% the best answer. But that being said, it's very effective to be able to be a 7k leader behind an 8k blocker. And that being said, I can't wait for Roger and OP13 7k leader base is going to have to come with some crazy effects. They do select to block. They do minus a card to, or minus a Don to get a card. And now we are a 7k leader behind an 8k blocker, and there's a lot of utility that comes with this. And this is where I'm talking about with the straight up disrespect. Like, are you kidding me? They literally straw sorted my Katakuri here, and then utilized this 7-cost Luffy like I'm not at 2 life and also able to use Gum Gum Giant. I think people are forgetting about the original. 1k, easy. 1k, actually I took that one because I knew I had so much control. If they want to invest down into that attack Luffy or the Gear 2 Luffy, and just here, like, why would you take that life besides disrespect? 7/7, okay, I'll take that. You only got 2 down left. You can only swing at me for 8. I get out of that all day, every day. And you have 0 life and no blockers. So what are you doing? Like I said, disrespect. Maybe his I'll have to double check his hand at the end, but I don't remember it being awful. Like, this play was insane to me. And I was like debating how I was going to swing or Eustace Captain Kid or whatever, but like, just everything on Katakuri, if some miracle way he gets out of that, I get to go swing in with Eustace Captain Kid, which is an 8. And then that minus Don, I get to get back off of my leader effect. I then get to swing back in with 8 off of my leader as well. So, like, he got out of that. Okay, go 8. They had counter, but I had 2 more 8Ks after that 18K. Like, I have, like, disrespectful. Now we're on to Purple Black Luffy, the new king of the format, maybe? This deck, the Purple Black Luffy deck, also uses Katakuri at an exceptional level, if I'm being quite frank as well. I think this purple Katakuri is probably one of the best colors, one of the best cards in the color now, and it needs to be respected. Well, we just start with some searchers. I'm going first, so I do get to ramp first. I do believe I was able to choose turn order, and that's why I did elect to go first. It's very important in this matchup. Does swing an 8, so 8k, so I do take that instead of giving him 2 cards. Swinging with 6 off of Zorojuro. And because there is a lot of potential for him to swing in, or for him to develop that 7k Beer Luffy next turn, I do just go ahead and ramp one more time with Mr. 2, so that I'll have additional attacks available to me if he develops that ideal threat. Four and 4, don't mind. He does, he had searched that Sanji off the law, so I kind of knew that was coming, but I was fine with it. 1k. 10, I was kind of honestly wondering if there was a play to just play a Gear 5 here for effect, but I actually just develop a vanilla Gear 5, just as generic 10 cost 12k, and it ends up being pretty decent, believe it or not. Now, he's at the top end of his curve, but it's pretty clear he doesn't have a Beer Luffy, and it's pretty clear that he, is maybe looking for threats. last time the siren didn't get picked up on the audio, so I'm hoping that that is the case with this. But I might need to make a quick cut. He does develop the Katakuri, which is very good for him. But I'm still in a pretty good position, especially with top decking that 9-cost Luffy. Now I get to swing 7, 10, 12, while keeping a down open if I want to, and drawing a card. Now you got to give me 2 cards even if you block. Now you got to give me more than 2 cards even if you block. And he goes down to 0 yet again. Feels pretty disrespectful to me. They don't know. They don't know about your boy. Gear 2 Luffy, I guess he was taking that life thinking that, oh, well, if I take that life, I don't have to take any life when I use the effect. But yet again, I'm at 2 life. You don't have that many swings. What made you think that you could disrespect RP Luffy like this? You got about to hit me with the Gear 5 laugh on him. 7, I can counter out of that. I don't even care to. Because 2K, easy. And then I take that, but who cares? And I have a second Gear 5 and I can just run through. You don't have enough resources. Like, I'm sorry. You just straight up do not have enough resources. Like, you didn't even try and get out of that. But if I had a Gear 5, I had another 7, 10, 12 coming after that 12. I did almost forget to press record on this, but I went first. Neither of us did anything the first 2 turns. Now I'm on 3 down. I'm just swinging in 9, taking that first life. I have ramp for next turn and then top end from there. Going 7 here does allow us to develop that Bond Clay and use the Nami at the same time, while also yet again keeping the pressure on our opponent here. And then we have 2 giants in the search, so it kind of feels like you might as well just grab one. Kind of ready for this game to go late. They're swinging a straight 6. It's a little annoying only having 2Ks, right? You kind of want to get that value or kind of keep the pressure off to the best of your ability. So I do use that 2K still. And I did elect to pitch the Uso Hachi over the Sanji. In a lot of other matchups, you'd see me pitch the Sanji over the Uso Hachi, but they don't, I mean, they do play Nami, but in the long run, I'm more concerned with Katakuri than I am with Nami. And, you know, depending on the game state, could get punished for that. But that's the reason for that decision, is that being able to push through a Katakuri has a lot of value to it in the long run. And they do just elect to block my 9-cost 10k block rusher. Still feel pretty good. They search off of, their leader effect is online. And now I am kind of concerned, or there could be some concern going into this skill 8 game. Both 2 giants and 2 Katakuris, I do feel like I have a lot of opportunity to play through even this kind of effect, right? Them giving me this is pretty nice. Being able to check this with just the Nami. This be able to go straight 6. Yet again, I know this is a 6k leader. Just kind of get those pokes in. And I am kind of realizing with this hand size, I'm a little at risk for a pudding play. But I'm not able to get much more out of my hand, even though I would like to. But I do just go ahead and develop that Katakuri. And I have a good number of cards in hand going down the stretch. They do top deck a Gum Gum Red Rock off their effect. They Gum Gum Red Rock and then immediately putting me here. And I think this is an okay play, but it feels, yet again, just very, very aggressive. Now they have 699. I guess they're just banking on me not having enough counter, but I have a 1k for this. This effect, I actually have the counter in hand, but I do just take it because I'm like a little bit like thinking like, what's going on here? And then it's going 9 again, and they concede on the spot. Their hand was a lot of counter events. I don't understand I don't understand this play from this position. Like I said, this was a video of them disrespecting the original RP Luffy, multicolored purple Luffy. We were here before the others, and we're gonna be here as long as it lasts. I think this deck still has a great spot in this meta, but if I'm in their position, I don't even bother red rocking my Katakuri. I just go 6, 9, 9, develop Katakuri, and then you just have counter for days, dude. There's no reason to make this play. Maybe they're just very fearful of my finishing potential, but like, with a Katakuri and these 2 9 costs on board, you can protect your big mom, you can have 2 counter events open, and then you're in great position. It was straight disrespect. So I appreciate you guys checking out. I hope you like, comment, subscribe. RP Luffy's still the original boy. And I'm going to play some of these other decks too, but it was just fun going through this gauntlet of just what felt like blatant disrespect and climbing the ladder over the more dominant meta Luffys. So, see you next time. I appreciate you guys checking it out.